One of the most important add-ons for your cruise is not that excursion you've always wanted. Is it the drinks package? Nope, not that either. So what is it? Ahoy travelers, it's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here to help you make your travel experience a success. So what is the most important add-on for your cruise? Trip insurance. Never, and I mean never, cruise without trip insurance. Anytime I hear about someone cruising without trip insurance, I shudder in fear. I've even heard people say that they will never buy insurance again because they didn't need it. What? You don't want to have to use it. It's there for emergencies, just like any other insurance. And anyone can have an emergency while on a cruise. Trip insurance isn't just for the elderly and infirm. Some of you may remember the story of the 8-year-old Denver boy who was drugged behind a horse while on an excursion in the Caribbean last year. It is the perfect example of why everyone, no matter your age or health condition, needs trip insurance. The Denver family had booked an excursion to Belize to ride horses, but things took a turn for the worse when the horse that the young boy was riding on got spooked and took off, and the boy was dragged behind because one of his feet had been tied to a stirrup. Unfortunately, the family had not purchased trip insurance, making an already harrowing situation even worse. How do you afford the tens of thousands of dollars for a medical transport back to the States? Between medical costs for the treatment in Belize, which is not going to be covered by your regular medical insurance, and a medical airlift back to the States, you're talking minimum 50 grand. Most families would be bankrupt by this. Before I Paul Harvey this with the rest of the story, if you enjoy this video and maybe even learn something, be sure to let us know by commenting and giving this video a thumbs up. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. Like most people who end up in a similar situation as the family of this little boy, there was a GoFundMe created for the family. And lucky for them, the GoFundMe gathered them over 60 grand, and their medical flight was then comped by the owner of the company. They'd heard the story and was moved by their plight. This family was lucky that people were generous enough to donate their time and money to cover expenses. And I really feel like it's because of was an 8-year-old boy involved. But that isn't always going to be the case. You can't just rely on the generosity of strangers to fix the problem when you don't buy trip insurance. Who would think that they would need trip insurance for a healthy 8-year-old boy? But that is the point of this video. Anyone can have a medical emergency. I've climbed ancient Mayan ruins and could have easily tripped and fallen and needed medical attention. Car crashes, heart attacks, strokes, or something as simple as the man who had to seek medical attention on a small island for what turned out to be just basic dehydration, maybe some exhaustion. But by the time he was diagnosed, the ship had already left him behind. And the man was so afraid of flying that he couldn't do it without being medically sedated, which means that he then needed a medical transport to get back to the States. But he didn't have trip insurance. If you can't afford trip insurance, you can't afford your cruise. Keep saving until you can, or you might just find yourself out of tens of thousands of dollars. Let me know in the comments if you have ever traveled outside your home country with no trip insurance. I did this on my very first cruise, long before I knew that trip insurance was even a thing. I'm just thankful that nothing bad happened. Why not stick around and check out this video on mistakes first-time cruisers make, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.